reaction.
I think we could call that at most charitably pushing.
I think in...
Down goes Stewart. Carr goes after the ball. Stewart gets up and wham! A rather vigorous push.
Okay, back to the live action now. Still no score in the game.
Well, there we saw an example of Keelan, the goalkeeper, outside his area, having to play the ball with his feet, rushing back to get into his goal mouth.
Okay, that's Liverich centering it to Kinalya. Kinalya heading it back. Neeskens almost at it. Gets it into the middle again. Now there's Mourinho with yet another shot. Reisberg and the other blonde getting across to the dark-haired Carlos Alberto.
We've got some of this.
Now Neeskens again.
Some of this papery tinsel stuff falling down on the field again. This has become a tradition here, this confetti thrown from the stands.
I'd like to alert our affiliates around the country that we'll be taking a station break pretty soon here. Carlos Alberto centering it to Kinalya. Hit more his shoulder than his head, I think, that time.
Kinalya was up well on that ball there. His timing was a little bit off, but it was a lovely cross, and he ran well to meet it.
Leading scorer in the North American Soccer League, Giorgio Kinalya. Before this season ends, he could be the leading scorer of all time. It's quite a race for the scoring title, though. Look at that. Alan Willey of Minnesota, David Robb of Philadelphia, Kevin Hector of Vancouver, and Karl-Heinz Granitza of Chicago moved into the picture just last night. He scored in a losing cause out in San Jose. Here's Keita, but it's Mourinho stealing it away. So he was back that time.
Oh, he moves around a lot, Mourinho. He doesn't charge about it. Doesn't get the impression of running hard, but he certainly gets all over the field, Mourinho.
Rick Davis.
Davis surely fouled from behind, but no call by the referee. And gives Daly the ball in a very dangerous situation for the Cosmos.
Okay, Daly hasn't seen the ball too much. We pointed out he had one shot, which went over the top of the goal. Now that's Alderson, who scored against Toronto 2 nights ago, up in Toronto, and David Burchich. Burchich hasn't had too much business. So
no, he hasn't. He's had that strong shot from Daly, which just whistled wide, which he had to scamper across the goal, but he really hasn't had to make a hard save yet.
Mourinho again. The defender who plays from one end of the field to the other, getting it. He fought across the Liverich, but it was Daly intercepting. Again, Daly seeming to be in many places at the same time.
Daly is in many places, but I think he's a little bit off key this afternoon. He gave the ball away there. He gave it to Mourinho.
Okay, and that intended for Kinalya, and over the end line. We'll be back with more NASL soccer after this commercial and a word from our local stations. Score, the Cosmos nothing, the New England team in nothing. 18 minutes precisely remaining in the first half. Here comes New England. Keita, number 8. He's got a player to his left and his right, but he takes a shot. Burchich knocking it away.
Well, that's Burchich's first save in earnest, and a good one too, because Keita hit that ball right on the mark, and it was really moving.
The quick break by the Cosmos. That's Bogicevic in the middle, getting it back to Rick Davis. New England hurrying back as Davis moves the ball over to Mourinho. He's got Liverich just in front of him. Gives it back to Rick Davis. And kicked away by Daly to Alderson.
Again, that is the problem with Cosmos, with so many players up. When that ball is sprung suddenly loose like that, there's a big gap there.
Again, Keita on the west coast of Africa, by way of France, Spain, and Portugal. And his
a marvelous bit of skill again by Keita. I can't help but admire this man. He got that ball across the middle when I didn't think he could do it, with the outside of his right foot.
And that was Weller stealing the ball from Mourinho.
Mourinho hearing his share of boos now.
Yes,
losing the ball there, or giving it away, really.
Neeskens stole it that time. Gets it to Bogicevic. Bogi and Neeskens could be a good combination when they get together for the Cosmos. There's Dennis Stewart, he who now bears the burden of a yellow card. One more and he'd be out of the game. And no substitute is allowed for a man thrown out of the game. Dennis still with the ball all by himself, but it's kicked away by Carr.
Well, it's a good example of this one-on-one duel there, because Carr followed him all the way from the other side of the field, right across the penalty area, and finally kicked the ball out into touch. Stewart tried to get round him, couldn't do it.
If you hear somebody hollering out on the field, it's usually Peter Carr. He really talks it up. Corner kick, though, for the Cosmos of New York, and it will be Dennis Stewart taking it. Remember, you can score from a corner kick. They've been known to curve it in there, but this time he went for Rick Davis, who is still looking for his first NASL goal.
Well, he's not going to get one like that, because his foot was way up in the air there, and that again is called dangerous play in soccer, because it was at a ball which really should have been headed. So New England will get a free kick, which the goalkeeper will take there.
Okay. The goalkeeper, Kevin the Cat Keelan, an Englishman who was born in Calcutta. His father was out there, was a regimental sergeant major. Coming up at halftime, as you see, Inside Soccer with the great Pele. Highlights of the first half and an up-close and personal on one of the significant players in the game. No score in the game up to this point, and there are just 16 minutes and 38 seconds left. Here come the Cosmos in this scoreless game. Carlos Alberto. Naskins heading it back to him. Over to Liverich, who's on the opposite side of the field from where he's been playing.
Exactly. Stewart is over this side.
And kicked out of bounds by Peter Simpson, the sweeper. The sweeper is a man, again, new to soccer, who normally plays behind the other defenders. And sweeps the ball out. He's very
well, he doesn't have a man-to-man responsibility. In other words, he's back there. If anybody breaks through, if anything goes wrong, he should be the man who puts it right. A lucky break for the Cosmos.
Canaglia giving it in to Liverich.
That was a rebound, which Bogey's pass was not good, but it rebounded to Canaglia. He pushed it across the middle. Liverich running in, but Keelan off his line very quickly. Got there first.
Now New England again. See if they can set something up. Neither team able to score so far. Cater getting it out to Alderson. And
slight case of handball from Naskins while he's sitting on the ground there.
Not allowed to do that. You can't touch it with your hands or with any part of your arms intentionally all the way up to your shoulder. If it just happens to hit you and it's clear that it just happened to, then play continues. Back out to Peter Carr. Now Keita playing with that bandage. He's had a hamstring problem. Didn't play the other night in Toronto. Might still be bothered a little bit by it, but he looks pretty darn good. Liverich now. We have Stewart on the right. There he is. Canaglia's in the middle, but the shot is very high. No chance for that. We'll take a break and come. We return live to Giant Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Cosmos in white, nothing. The New England team in red and yellow, nothing. The crowd estimated at 45,000 or perhaps a little better, looking on here in the stadium that's become sort of the shrine of soccer in the United States. Today, however, the pilgrims to the shrine are a little restless. They'd like to see a little scoring out of their Cosmos. Or a little scoring in the game. It's 0-0, as we said. Here's Keith Weller, the captain, getting it to Reed, the young American. Couldn't quite get on balance, and Alberto takes it away from him.
It looked like it was going to be a promising move there, but Reed was off balance when he got that ball. Couldn't quite recover, and if you're off balance in front of Carlos Alberto, I guarantee you're going to lose the ball.
Marinho to Bogi. Vladislav Bogicevic. Bogi into the middle to Dennis Stewart. Stewart with a couple of fakes. Can't get through. Shot by Marinho. Saved by Keelan.
And again, I think Mourinho is going to cause some consternation amongst his teammates if he doesn't put one of those in soon, because every time one of those long shots is taken, there's a sort of despairing look from Canaglia, amongst others, that ball really ought to have been cast rather than shot.
Well, in his very first game on this field, Mourinho, who had been kept out of the first couple games of the year by the former coach Eddie Fermani, scored a hat trick with shots like that. But as you said, when they don't go in, it's a different story. To Canaglia. There's Stewart.
Canaglia had taken down.
And they both missed it. Excuse me, Paul.
So Canaglia was taken down there with a sliding tackle from behind. Let's take a look at this shot of Mourinho's. Bogey looking around to see who he can give the ball to. Pushes it in now. Stewart, a lovely bit of work from Stewart. Fakes one way, then moves the ball with the outside of his right foot. Pushes it along the ground. Mourinho whack first time. But you see Keelan perfectly positioned there, and that's a 25-yard shot. It's got to be just right. It's got to be hit with tremendous power to be the goalkeeper of Keelan's ability.
Just 11 minutes left in the first half. 45-minute half. No timeouts. Liverich now, number 29. He came back to the Cosmos not long ago.
Well, I think we can attribute that sort of little miss there to artificial turf, because we almost heard the squeak.
You could hear it, yeah.
Exactly. He tried to get his foot under the ball to jam it into the ground, but it didn't go, and it went straight to an opponent.
Now the ever-present Marinho. And Bogey, now Ricky Davis from California. Bogey from Yugoslavia, healing it to himself rather cleverly. 5 of the Cosmos 7 shots have been by Mourinho. Does that tell you something? Here's Liverich. No shots by Canaglia. And they're kicked potentially back to the goalie by Artur, the Portuguese right back, right defender. He is a very talented and a skilled player. The Portuguese play a little bit different than the English player, of which the New England team is composed mostly.
Defenders, yeah, I think very much so. I think on the whole, they're better. They're more comfortable with the ball at their feet, the Portuguese and the Continentals and the English. The English are rather prone to get rid of it as quickly as possible. Ricebergen again called.
Carlos Alberto, obviously not happy
Alberto
about that.
throwing the ball away. which sort of could mean a yellow card for him, but the referee has said something to him and not given him a yellow card. But that, in fact, was not the referee's call. The linesman was flagging on that one.
David Socha, the referee, and there's just the one official actually in charge of the game. The linesmen are there for consultation purposes only. The man in charge is David Socha from Springfield, Mass. Okay, here is Keith Weller, number 14, lofting it towards the goal. Nobody able to get to it except David Bursich.
Well taken by David Bursich again, out quickly to that ball and grasped it well. This is the last foul we're going to see, the one that caused all the trouble there. A long free kick. Reisberger now heading the ball away, and the foul is called there, and this is where Carlos Alberto gets all upset about it. But anyway, there's nothing you can do about it. It was a free kick to New England.
Ringo Cantillo was all over Bogicevic, so it'll be a free kick for the Cosmos. And again, it's Marinho. The high lofted pass for Liverich, and the header left to the goal.
Header by Liverich.
Quite a contrast in goalkeepers. Kevin the Cat Keelan here, 37 years old, maybe 38, maybe even more. David Bursich, 22 years old, getting his first start here in Giant Stadium, just 22 years old from St. Louis.
I think Kevin Keelan may be able to add about 10 years to his career as a field goal kicker. Tremendous whack down the field every time.
But you never seem to be too fond of that. You make a little wry face when they have that long kick, which very often results in simply a battle for the ball between the two sides.
Well, I think far more than 50%, maybe as much as 80%, it results in the opposing team getting the ball. I'm not saying you should never do it. I don't think there's any such word as never in soccer, but to use it as your staple means of distributing the ball from the back strikes me as being, how can I put it, unproductive.
Well, let's see what Artur can produce here. Portuguese star watching the ball blow away a little bit. Wind swirling a bit, but it's not a major factor in the game. Liverich now. Bogey. Ricky Davis. Davis, as we said, still looking for his first goal in North American Soccer League. He's had 7 assists this year.
Still looking for his first goal, but my word, how he's come on this American player. He really has gained terrific confidence this year.
Yes, he has. And the home crowd.
Well, that was Canaglia, whose pass wasn't exactly where it should have been.
All right, Bogey over to Liverich. Canaglia coming out a little bit, passing it back on the give and go to Liverich. Into the middle, but... And there's Bogey. Bogey giving Canaglia a shot. Knocked away by Keelan. That was a close one.
Good save by Kevin Keelan, but again, you can see why you can't give Canaglia chances in the box there. He moved on that ball tremendously quickly. Stuffed it with his right foot. Keelan, no time to get his hands down, saved it with his feet. This is Bogey pushing the ball. Well, we're much earlier into the play now. This is Liverich getting his cross across here. Now, Bogey, I would have thought, was offside there, but no call. He steals the ball back to Canaglia, whack, and it literally bounces off Keelan's feet.
All right, we're back to live action. A throw-in by Ricky Davis of the Cosmos, but now New England gains possession. Keith Weller, the captain, number 14. He plays on the left side, remember, in the forward position. But now he's got Reed left of him, number 19. Headed away by Liverich. But Keita gets it back, and here comes Daly. He's got a little space, he's got a little room. Nobody with him, though. And it's taken away by Marinho.
Well, some very nice soccer there altogether. Keita very quick to see, when that ball came to him suddenly, very quick to see Daly unmarked just outside the penalty area. Got the ball to him immediately. Daly couldn't get off his shot, was just measuring it up when back comes Marinho to steal the ball from him.
5:45 left in the first half, still no score. And right at the goalie, Rick Davis with that move. Here comes Jerry Daly. And the recovery by Eskandarian for the Cosmos. Carlos Alberto chips it down towards Bogicevic. Bogey's been playing a good game.
Now, Bogey got away from Cantillo that time. Cantillo attempted to go for a ball that he shouldn't have gone for. He missed it and left Bogey on his own.
Well, Marinho missing that pass, and it comes to Keith Weller. Let's see, New England now with 3 men coming down. They've got Keita on the right, Weller in the middle, Reed on the left. Here comes Alderson, number 15. That's Keita with the ball, though. Moving it over to Weller.